Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the TRM Bulldog. I've got a new style of review that I'm going to try out. I'm just taking it on a test drive. The whole purpose of this is to shorten up the review process and provide information that is a little bit easier to digest for people, a little bit more comprehensive, just better overall, all the way around. I want to get this shortened up a bit, and I want to know what you guys think of this process. So I would ask that you watch the entire video all the way through and let me know exactly what you think of this style of review versus my older, more lengthy style of review towards the end of the video. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much to eKnives for providing this knife for me to review. This is not mine to keep. It will go back to eKnives. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Here are the specs on this knife. So you can see here it's not absolutely massive. It's actually pretty standard at about 7 inches. We've got a 3-inch blade. It can be in 20 CV or Magna Cut. You've got the sort of crossbar locking system there. And then a wide variety of different handle materials, as well as either flat, contoured. You can even do some texturing for the carbon fiber. But anyways, let's go ahead and do some quick size comparisons. So what does this compare most closely to? Definitely the Spyderco Para 3 or something like the Demco 80 20.5. You could also put it up against something like the Ontario Rat Model 2. That's absolutely going to be the case there. So we're going to do a quick hardware check on this guy. You can definitely get my tools down in the description. They're very inexpensive and very recommendable. This is going to end up being almost certainly a T8 for the pivot. And yep, that is going to be the case there. T8 for the pivot. And then we have T6 for the body screws and the pocket clip screws. So nothing crazy there. Crossbar locks are not the funnest knives to take apart, but far from impossible. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. So let's start off here with some objective categories. We've got 6 objective categories that I'll be letter grading this knife in. So typical, you know, A, B, C, D, F. And then I'll reserve a very special grading for knives that are absolutely spectacular in any of these categories. I'll reserve the S tier grading for those categories. So it should be pretty straightforward, but I'll be as objective as possible. And then I'll give kind of my own little subjective score at the end. Starting off here with the first category, ease of manipulation. It's okay. I mean, obviously pulling back on this crossbar is super easy. High tension omega springs, it drops the blade. That part's good. Deploying the blade, I mean, it's fine. You can get it to do what you want it to do. It's not the most satisfying thing. You gotta dig at it for the reverse flick. Wheeling it out is okay. You know, kind of flicking it out is okay. It's fine. It's definitely functional. It's just far from, you know, really, really great. So realistically, as far as ease of manipulation goes, it's fine. But there are definitely easier and more practical systems out there. And I think that this could be improved on. So I'd probably give it maybe a C+ or a B-. In category 2, which is blade practicality, just judging the blade based on what it is designed to do, which I think is just pretty specific kind of, you know, all-purpose light to medium tasks. Now, obviously not prying, hammering, screwing, anything like that, but just general EDC tests. Yeah, it's really, really great. I mean, it's hard. Nowadays, it's really like any knife that's designed to be practical is probably going to be practical in terms of the blade, because it just comes down to, you know, your quality heat treat, your, you know, blade material, obviously. But in terms of like the practicality of the blade geometry, like a simple drop point blade or sheep's foot blade, there's a number of different blade shapes, right? There's a lot of different practical blades. It's very easy for a blade to be a practical blade shape for general tasks and not something specialized, which I think this is that. This is like many, many, many knives out there, and it does a great job like those many, many, many other knives. It's got nice thin geometry. It's got a nice continuous curvature there, so it's going to be nice and easy to touch up over time as long as you have the proper sharpening equipment. It's got a nice tip out here. It's going to do good. I would give it a solid A. I think it'd be pretty hard not to get an A if this is your goal. So good job there. Moving on to category 3, and that is comfort in the hand and carrying it in the pocket. So in the pocket, it's super nice. Nice and lightweight and compact. Comes in and out of the pocket, super easy. Pocket clip, good design, straightforward, good to go there. Comfortability like this, obviously it's going to be a little bit tricky here because my hands are not the same size as everybody else's. But I think the choil could have been slightly bigger. And most importantly, I think this peak probably could have been shaved down a bit. This makes me feel a little bit cramped in this position. And behind it, it makes me feel like I'm sliding off of the end. So I kind of want more room up here, and I want this to be knocked down so I don't have to choose between here or here. The contouring of the micarta is very good. The chamfering is good. This is generally comfortable in every other area but that. Kind of want some jimping up here too, but I think this could be improved on. Like if you're going to keep this size, then those areas for sure. Making it bigger would also help as well, but it could also generally be improved on in terms of comfort, in my opinion. So I'm also going to give that kind of like a low B. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad, but probably a low B, maybe a high C there in terms of comfort. Category 4, which is reliability. There's nothing here to suggest that it would not be reliable in terms of lockup. The only problem comes with like just Omega Springs in general, right? I mean, if this is your only EDC knife and you're just using this and nothing else, eventually you'll probably have a problem with one or both of the Omega Springs. I think Microtech's Ram Lock system with the coil spring, or Benchmade's own Anthem, which is protected by a patent, it utilizes a crossbar lock that has a coil spring, and those are far more reliable. So a crossbar lock is a good lock. It's a strong lock, and as long as the Omega Springs don't break, it's going to be very reliable. Most crossbar locks are going to be the same, and as long as the company that's producing them is a good, a company that's known for quality, you shouldn't really have any lockup issues or anything like that. But it definitely could be better, right? So reliability of a crossbar lock, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say they're at a B+, A-, right in there. Nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly fine. You shouldn't be super worried about it because Omega Springs can easily be replaced. It's just a little tricky to do it on the fly. As long as it's properly oiled and maintained, you really shouldn't have a problem with an Omega Spring. Moving on here to overall quality, extremely good. Fit and finish and lockup, completely and totally solid. There's no lock stick or anything. Maybe a subtle hint of lock stick. That's typical of some crossbar locks. We have perfect centering here. Edges all knocked down where they're supposed to be. Completely even cutting bevel, all of that. Seating of the hardware is all really, really good. This is typical TRM. Overall, great quality. I still not, anything that I would put in the S category. That's again going to be a really difficult category, or a little really difficult grading to achieve for any knife in any category, but again, a solid A in terms of overall quality. And for category number 6, which is value versus the competition. So who is the competition? This is a USA made production knife. So realistically, we're looking at Benchmade. We're looking at Golden Colorado Spydercos. We're looking at USA Kershaw's, Hogue's, Protex, Microtech's, etc., etc. Is this priced well? Well, let's be fair about this. TRM is nowhere near the same size as Kershaw or Benchmade, and you look at Kershaw's USA stuff, and it's like, yeah, I can understand why it's priced that way. You look at Benchmade's USA stuff, and you're like, what the heck are they thinking? That's ridiculous. So, far better, and arguably way better fit and finish and all of that versus Benchmade, right? But it's not priced as well. If it's just like the USA stuff, it's not priced as well as a Kershaw. To be fair, I feel like Kershaw probably outsources quite a bit more and still is able to say US made, right? Still the majority of the knife made in the USA, outsources quite a bit more, while as TRM probably outsources almost nothing. So if we're comparing it to companies who also outsource almost nothing, I think this is probably one of the best options out there. I mean, I think they do a really, really good job. Microtech wouldn't make the same thing. I don't think ProTech would make the same thing. Hogue, maybe. I feel like Hogue's prices are pretty fair, so it's probably pretty comparable to like Hogue or maybe ProTech, somewhere in between there in terms of like, pricing it based on what it realistically is. The fit and finish is awesome, right? All of that. As far as what they're charging you versus like what they're capable of doing and how fair it is, I think it's pretty darn fair. But if we're like really looking at dollar for dollar value, USA made stuff, right? It's not incredible. It's just good, right? I mean, it's a solid B in terms of value, maybe a B+ somewhere in there. I hope that's fair. I'm trying to be as fair as possible, but there are definitely companies out there making similar products that are charging a little bit less. And no, we don't count Chinese products because those are made in China. Totally different rules, but yeah, pretty darn good. As far as my own personal metal complex cool factor score, which is completely and totally subjective and should be looked at as entirely separate from the previous objective categories, I'd give it probably a C plus or so. It's not anything, like it's great, it's fine. I would probably appreciate carrying this as just a straightforward practical cutting tool, but it doesn't make me want to rush out and buy it. It's not doing anything incredibly unique. It doesn't make me as a collector enthusiast user go, oh my gosh, I absolutely have to have this. But I have a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I have experienced a bajillion knives just like this, and that's why you don't necessarily have to take this score too seriously. That's just my honest feeling there. Now, back to the objective stuff. Do I recommend this for people looking for a high quality, fairly priced, practical USA made EDC knife? Yes, definitely. Absolutely. I think it's great. There's definitely competition out there. This could definitely be improved on, but it scores anywhere from okay to very good in all categories. So I think that's fine. It's definitely a recommendable knife, but you should also be shopping around. This is definitely not like a you have to have this. It's the best thing in the category. You got to go for it. You should be shopping around a bit, but generally speaking, a very, very recommendable knife. That's going to be it. Let me know what you think of this review process. I was trying to keep it short, right? In the future, we will omit a lot of the, here's how the review's going to go. So it's going to shorten it up there. And then I probably won't move as light speed for the rest of it just to kind of keep it flowing nicely. But generally speaking, I would like to shorten these reviews up to about 10 to 12 minutes. So let me know what you think. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.